Welcome back. Well, you did say if they blow the whistle wrongly, but again, there are categories of that.
Yes.
Blowing the whistle wrongly in terms of if they don't establish that there's a crime there,
yes.
Or is it that if it leads to some sort of investigation, at what point can the whistleblower be exonerated?
At the point where there actually was an illegal act, and at the point where he departs from good faith. These two must meet. Because when these two meet, then the principle of public interest crystallizes. It is in the public interest that people should whistleblow. But you have to do it to the extent that a crime has indeed been committed or reasonably suspected to have been committed. To an objective eye, to an objective person, somebody standing casually by and watching events, the person would think that what he is seeing or what she is seeing is a crime being committed. If such a situation arises, a whistleblower should be exonerated.
Okay, let's hypothesize a bit. If one blows a whistle because ordinarily your identity is concealed, they won't know that. So if you then blow the whistle wrongly and it's established that eventually is out of malice,
yes,
and that law is in place,
yes,
does that then mean that your identity as a whistleblower will be revealed?
Absolutely. Your identity would have to be revealed at some point in the event that you have to go for trial, because there are a lot of protection against people for things like malicious prosecution, perjury, and all whatnot. There are a lot of provisions to protect somebody against people maliciously setting off the triggering a process of prosecution that has no bearing whatsoever to any crime.
So does that have the potential of hurting the whistleblower policy?
No, it doesn't. That is why there needs to be a law. In the United Kingdom, it's Public Interest Disclosure Act. In the United States, it's the Dodd-Frank Act of 2010, and there's also the Whistleblowers Act of 1989 in the United States. We can get these documents from these jurisdictions and try to marry them to the Nigerian circumstances. If you create scenarios where a whistleblower would be exonerated, you will also have to create other scenarios where a whistleblower would have to go in for wrongly and falsely putting other persons to ridicule.
So why do you think that if this whistleblowing policy is this important to unraveling crime, especially at the financial level,
yes,
if this is so important to this country, why then has there been a delay in making it a full law?
I am absolutely perplexed. I am amazed why we are dragging on it. It is a very important policy. It has been in place in most jurisdictions, even if we are restricting ourselves to the Commonwealth jurisdictions. It has been in place in most Commonwealth jurisdictions, and there is no reason whatsoever why Nigeria should not go ahead and legislate it and put it in our statutes. What is happening now that the presidency is acting on executive order is unconstitutional. What the National Assembly is merely doing is allowing unconstitutionalism to prevail. They should step into the plate, they should step in onto the table and pass this legislation into law. I learned that it's already before the National Assembly. If there are issues about it, they could put it out to the public, and some of us who are lawyers who have studied some of these whistleblowing laws across the world, across jurisdictions of the world, can make our inputs, put some of our positions out to them, and they will tweak it in such a way as to reflect the general tendency of the Nigerian peculiar circumstances and make it into law.
Do you think it is facing some degree of resistance, and from where?
Absolutely, absolutely. Nigeria is a place where things work on the other side. You don't expect things to always work well in Nigeria, and so you must accept the fact that yes, there may be some underhand tactics, underhand game being played to delay its passage. Because it's not rocket science. The principles are very clear. What exactly they are doing in the presidency, you can translate them into simple legislation. Just the fact that you have to be entitled to 10% or 5% of what proceeds come out of your whistleblowing. Just put it into legislation and state rules and regulations guiding the fact of your whistleblowing. It doesn't take rocket science. Only just one single lawyer can draft whistleblowing policy in a day. Do you think the National Assembly takes it from there?
Do you think the presidency is not in support of this policy?
Perhaps again too, that's a very important question. Perhaps again too, there may also be sabotage within the presidency, because if they are so intent on pushing for it as a legislation, it should by now have been in the front burner. It should be something that they ought to have been pushing through the National Assembly. They have their liaison officers at the National Assembly. It should be something that should be used to pressurize the National Assembly, because what we are doing today, we have to emphasize it. The fact that you would whistleblow and money will be recovered and you will be giving 5% of the money, it is not legislated. The balance of the money can go anywhere, it can go to anybody, and it just goes missing like that because it is not legislated. So what we are having is an illegality upon illegality. We are using illegality to fight illegality.
You know, when you say you don't expect things to work well in this country, that's a state of hopelessness.
It's a state of hopelessness.
No, some of us are optimistic.
Yes, we have to be optimistic.
We look forward to things working very well in this country.
Absolutely.
You know, because,
we have to keep talking.
We don't have any other country.
It's good that
to work.
We can have other countries. What you can say
no,
is we don't have any other space, geographical space, apart from this geographical space that we are existing in. Yeah. What we make out of this geographical space should be of interest to us. The fact of country of Nigeria, dear gentlemen, is a creation of the partitioning and scrambling of Africa by the Europeans. So they do not come to tell you that you are a Nigerian, whereas you could be an African as a person. So we should hold on to our geographical space and call our fellow African brothers as our brothers, and call our fellow African sisters as our sisters, without necessarily discriminating because you are a Nigerian by being said to be so by the Europeans.
Well, what do you think would have happened if the EFCC got this whistle blown to it about Goje's residence and the monies that were allegedly supposed to be moved at that time? Would the scenario would it have been different now that the police now went there? But if the EFCC, anywhere the EFCC goes, people say that there must be some concerns raised there. Yeah. But this one, all documents were returned. There was no evidence to show that there was any crime or financial crime there. So the police just moved in and out, and really nothing happened.
Really nothing happened, and that is why we need to get a law of whistleblowing. What should be the compensation for the opprobrium, the ridicule, as it were, that may have happened to the name of Danjuma Goje?
But they haven't said they've dropped all the cases, have they?
I don't know. We need to know exactly. They need to tell us exactly what they have found and what they are working on.
Okay.
Because it is important for me as a lawyer and somebody who is in the realm of rule of law and justice, that the police must disclose to us exactly some of the incriminating documents that were found there. They cannot just return everything and just come out to say that no, nothing was found. There ought to be statements to say, okay, we looked through these documents, these were our suspicions, but we are seeing now that actually no crime was committed. And they offer an apology, a public apology to the senator, if indeed nothing was discovered.
Okay, Mr. Kechukwu Keji is a legal practitioner. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you so much, Emily, for having me. Gimba.
All right, then, so we'll turn our attention to another matter, and Mark, we'll do that.